Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading The Trouble with Peace. So The Trouble with Peace is the second book in the Age of Madness trilogy and I think, ninth in the First Law world, which is fantasy. And I have loved all the books in this bigger world, and some of them I've really loved. And the first of this particular trilogy, which is the last trilogy of the series. I mean, I don't know if there are going to be more books in the future. I would love that, but I don't know if there is a plan for that. But for now, this is the last trilogy, at least. And the one that comes before this, I gave 5 stars. So I definitely went into this one with very high expectations. And yeah, I just want to say that there are spoilers for everything that happens in this book in this video. And having said that, let's just get into the video. Okay, so I have read part 1 of The Trouble with Peace. I'm on page 192 and I am absolutely loving it. I have been obsessed since the first page, and we can start with Vic. I think that's where I have the least to say. And so she has gone to Westport because the people of Westport are gonna have, they're gonna vote on whether they want to remain part of the Union or to join Styria, because Styria seems to be getting stronger and stronger. They have won 3 wars against the Union, and the Union is kind of falling apart, and a lot of people want to leave the Union and join Styria, and so there's gonna be that vote, and she goes there, sent by Glokta basically, and she is trying to buy votes for the Union, and either buy or just blackmail or threaten, just get votes for the Union. And she gets an actor to pretend that he is shanked and that the Styria is actually the one threatening people, and she's gonna be their savior, and so people are gonna vote for the Union. And that actually works out. The votes for remaining in the Union, they win. But then the real Shanked and Vitari, they get there and they figure out what Vic was doing. And Vitari wants Vic to work for her instead of just killing her. She recognizes that she could be useful and she wants her to work for her. But Vic says that she kind of owes Glokta, so she's gonna remain working for him. And then with Orso and Savine and Leo, they're all gonna be connected. And so we start with Orso being at his first meeting with the closed council as the new king. And like I said, the Union is kind of falling apart. Their enemies from the south and the west are getting stronger. There are still problems with the Breakers, and also people are worried about Leo's deal with Stour, and Stour being the new king of the Northmen. And yeah, it's not going very well. Leo kind of he's the king, but he has no real power. People are not listening to him. People don't really like him. The people in the council, they don't really listen to him, and the people outside, just the citizens, they don't like him. And then there was a guy from the open council that has he's been imprisoned by the Inquisition, and he is he's accused of some crimes that he is definitely very guilty of, and they're trying to decide what to do with him, because if he goes free, it will be seen as Orso just, choosing the nobility side. But if he is found guilty and executed, it will be seen as Orso choosing, going against the nobility, and the nobles, the rich people, would be angry. And so he's trying to figure out what to do, and he visits that guy, and everyone can tell that he's clearly guilty of the crimes he's accused of. And then we also have Bias getting in everything, every decision. And also like they keep mentioning, like every time they talk about Bias, basically they mention that like he's bald. And I'm thinking that because we know that the Weaver, like the leader of the Breakers, is bald, and they're like trying to make it obvious that it's Bias, which makes me think that it's not Bias. You know what I mean? So there's that, and Bias is actually going to leave the capital. He's going away. And then with Leo, he's like still in the north, or like back in the north, but he's actually invited to go back to the capital for a wedding, like Lord Isher's wedding. And so he goes back to the capital, and he's actually approached by some people that are not happy with Orso leading. They just don't think that he has what it takes. And then with Savine, we learn that she is pregnant. And so her mother and Leo's mother, they get together and they basically decide that Savine and Leo are gonna get married. And Savine at first is like, what the hell? Why are you ambushing me? But then she realized that maybe it will not be a bad deal because he is the Lord Governor of England. And, you know, if she's not gonna marry the king because he's her brother, she might as well marry like the best second option, who is Leo. And so they are gonna get married, and they're actually gonna get married the same day as like Lord Isher, so it's in 2 weeks. And then we see that it's gonna be like the trial of that guy from the Open Council, and Orso had sort of like tried to make a compromise with everyone where he was gonna have the guy being found guilty and like serve a life sentence instead of being executed. But then he's supposed to plead as guilty, but he actually says that he's innocent and kind of like ruins the whole plan. And then Leo is like there watching all that, and he's saying that like Orso is like, why is he going against this clearly innocent man? And he has like some kind of outburst, and he's like, and Orso's telling him like to sit down, and Leo says, I refuse. Explain to everyone that you can't judge this man fairly. You're a puppet of the closed council. Which, like, he's not wrong. He is a puppet of the closed council, but also he's judging the man fairly because he is clearly guilty. So, yeah, but has this outburst, and there's like a whole, like, it's chaos, and Orso has him like taken out of there, and then he says that like that man is guilty and he's gonna be executed, and that's that. And Savine is like, why is this dude that I have to marry making this fool of himself? And then she goes to talk to him, and she kind of like gets to control him a little bit, or so we think. And then they do eventually get married, and then we see that Leo has a meeting with like those people that were talking basically about treason and about how Orso isn't fit to rule and about how they have to do something. And they literally say that they have to make the Union great again, which was a choice. And yeah, they're gonna do something about it, I guess. And that's where I am with them. And then with Rika, basically like, even before Rika, like in the north, we see Clover, like he's now chief, and he's dealing with like a group of Shanka. So the Shanka are back in the series. And he basically kills some Shanka and like takes the head to Stour. And we also see that like the Dogman, he is like getting old and sick. And there are some people, even like the ones with the Dogman, that would rather see the North, like after he dies, stay like with Northmen, so like Stour, than be like really part of the Union. So, you know, there are some tensions rising as well. And then like actually with Rika, and oh, before that, like, just want to mention, because it's kind of connected to Rika, during Savine's wedding, she was actually wearing the rune necklaces that she got from Rika, and I thought that was really cute. But yeah, Rika is like really struggling with the long guy, and she has some more visions. She says, I saw a river full of corpses. I saw 2 old men fighting a duel in the circle, and 2 young women holding hands under a golden dome. I saw a flag with an eye upon it, standing behind a high chair. I saw an old woman, and her face was stitched together with golden wire, and she spoke to me. And she, like, Izern says that, Izern, actually, I don't know how to say her name. But she says that she knows who that woman with, like, the stitched face is, and she is a witch that actually was brought back from the dead. And Rika says that, like, in her vision, that woman, that witch, was telling her that she had to choose. And so, yeah, like Rika is really struggling with the long eye. She's having a lot of vision. She's like, her body is not dealing well with it. She is probably gonna die because of it. So Eisern and Shivers, they take her to that witch. And when they get to the witch, they find that like she has some Shanka serving her, which everyone is really shocked and confused by, me included. And she is trying to help Rika. She's like drawing some runes, some tattoos on her, and she's like really struggling to be able to control the long eye on Rika. And she says again that she has to choose, and basically that she has to choose an eye. And so she sort of like has to lose an eye to get control over the long eye. And she eventually does seem to be like better. She seems to get well, and she goes back home. And when she gets back home, her father has actually died. And then we see like the funeral, which was like really sad, but like really cute and heartwarming, like the things that they were saying about the dogman. And yeah, I'm actually really sad that he's dead. And honestly, like when Jazel died at the end of the first book, I thought I would be more upset because he's a character that I spent like 3 books with, but honestly I kind of didn't feel anything. But I really, like, I got sad when the dogman died and they were saying like all these nice things about him at the funeral. Also maybe because no one really made a big deal out of Jazel's death, and they did out of the dogman's death. Maybe that could be part of it. But yeah, there is the funeral, and indeed there are already people that want to be led by Stour, others that want to remain in the Union, and someone tells that like Rika, she cannot lead them because she's a woman and they can only be led by men, whatever. And like she can't lead them, but they respect her decision because she is the dogman's daughter. So she again has to make the choice, and that is where we are at. And I'm loving it. I'm absolutely obsessed with it since the first page. I basically read this whole thing, not in one sitting because I actually had to move, but I read this whole first part in one day, almost the 200 pages. And yeah, I'm loving it. I'm obsessed. I am still loving some characters, still hating some characters. I hate Leo more and more as the book goes on, as the series goes on, I mean. And yeah, I hate him. I know that it's part of prophecy that the lamb is gonna eat the lion, and I cannot wait for that because he's really, really pissing me off. And I continue to feel really bad for Orso. Like everything goes wrong in his life. He's just really struggling with everything. And Savine and Leo, I'm interested to see how that marriage is gonna go. She kind of married him because she thought also that he could like help with her reputation because everybody loves Leo. He's the hero that beats the Northmen, whatever. So she wants to better her reputation a little bit, but also she thinks that she can like easily manipulate him. And I don't know, like he is an idiot. And with Rika, I also feel really bad for her, but like her story is so interesting. I was absolutely glued to the pages when I was reading her story. And yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm absolutely loving this. I am obsessed with it. And so I'm gonna read part 2, which I think is around the same length, like a little bit than 100 pages. I wanna say it ends on page 375. So yeah, it's just like very slightly shorter. It's like this section. So yeah, I'm gonna read part 2 and I'll be back. Okay, so I have read part 2, which in this book is called part 5, because I think they're just gonna count the whole, like all the parts in the series trilogy. And I'm on page, actually I don't know, 376, and that is just over 2/3. And so we see that the men from Rika's village, they approach her asking about her decision on what they're gonna do, if they're gonna join the Union, if they're gonna join the other Northmen. And she says that, like, just like all Northmen, they should settle their differences in the circle. And so the guy that is wanting to join the Union and the guy that wants to join the North, they fight each other in the circle. And that is actually like something that she saw in her vision, like in the beginning of the book, because she said, I saw two old men fight a duel in the circle. And so I'm assuming that were these two old men. And so the one that wanted to join Stour actually wins, but then Rika says that, like, there's another difference to settle because she doesn't want to join the Union or Stour. She wants them to remain independent as her father wanted, and so Shivers is gonna fight for her in the circle against the other guy that won, and Shivers, not shocking anyone, actually wins. And so they are gonna be remaining independent and she is gonna be in charge. And then we see that Stour, like, since Rika has a long eye, he wants to find someone with a long eye for himself, or like a magus, and he is going, like, he's trying to get some people, but he is so far failing with that. And then still in the north, we see that Leo gets back home and Savine obviously now goes with him because they are married. And he is talking to his friends there about the treason that he wants to commit, basically. And most of them do blindly support him, I guess. And then he's talking to Lord Isher about their plans. And Savine actually overhears. And she, at first, is kind of like unsure of what to do. She's weighing the pros and cons of warning, like, Orso and her father. Because if this treason, this battle happens, it will, like, if they win, it will be bad for Orso and her father, who are people that she supposedly cares about. But she realizes that it will be better for her, probably, if she just joins Leo in his treason. And so, and like, she thinks that she can steer him in the, like, the right way to do things, because he's very, like, irrational, very rash, and she thinks that, you know, she can actually make it work. And so she's gonna join them, and then she tells Lord Isher that, like, she will join if Leo becomes the new king, and so she will, you know, be queen, like, even this way, which is like what she wanted before when she was gonna marry Orso. And also they're talking about, like, all the people that they are going to try to get help from. So, like, they have all the people from England, which is where Leo is the Lord Governor of. They're gonna try to get Rika's help, also Stour's help, and then Savine says, like, maybe she can get the Breakers, because she, like, Broad now works with her, and he was briefly part of the Breakers, so she's gonna send him to talk to the Breakers, and also the help from Styria, because we know that Styria and the Union have been at war for some time, and she thinks that, you know, they might be able to convince the king of Styria to fight with them. And then, like, first they go to Rika, and when they get there, she, like, touches, like, Savine's belly because she is pregnant, and she says something kind of creepy. She says, "Oh, I'd expect something special from the two of you, but this will change the world." Which, I don't know if she, like, felt something or if she just said it, but either way, that was kind of creepy. And so they are talking to her about their plan to go against the Closed Council. And she says that, like, she's unsure on whether she should help them. But then she has a vision and talks to them, like, the next day. And she says that her vision started off with me climbing a hill of bones. But when I got to the top, the sun rose over green uplands. And there was a lion, and it wore a crown. And so she seems to have seen Leo winning. So she agrees to join them, and she just wants to stay, like, as far away from Stour and these people as possible in that battle. And then there is a guy that gets there, that is the Nail, and he, like, after they leave to go talk to Stour, he gets there to Rika's place, and he's, like, telling her that he wants revenge on Stour, and because she does as well, and she's like, well, I just agreed to maybe possibly fight by his side, but, you know, you never know, in the future things are definitely gonna be bad between us again, so, you know, just stick around, I guess. And then they go talk to Stour, and Leo is, like, talking to him, and he basically offers him nothing other than, like, friendship and a thank you. Like, he's not gonna go for that, obviously. But then Savine, behind Leo's back, offers him the Protectorate, which is, like, the place where Rika is living, like the place that is independent from the Union and the North. And that is like what Stour wants, to have like all the North together again. And then in the capital, we see Orso, and he's like attending the hanging of that guy that he sentenced to death in the previous part. And it goes terribly wrong. Like, it's chaotic. It doesn't go well, like the hanging itself. And then people are like throwing things at everyone, and they definitely like still very much hate him. And then we see him in like, there's like another attack by the breakers, and now they say that they're all burners. And there's like an explosion, and Leo and his mother and some other people are actually there, like for a demonstration. And a lot of people die, a lot of people get hurt. But Sulfur is also there, and he actually, with his magic and with, you know, being an eater, he deals with the burners. But things are definitely not looking up. And now that like Sulfur saved him, he convinced Orso to agree to like have Sulfur talk to the bank, which we know is not a good thing. And then he gets a letter from a friend. It just says that like it's from a friend, and it's basically warning him that there is someone planning like treason against the closed council, and he should prepare. And it just says that it's from a friend, but like I am hoping that it's from Rika. Like, I would absolutely love that, and I feel like she would, but I don't know if it's her, but I really hope that it is her. And so yeah, he's, you know, gonna prepare, and he is gonna go talk to the king of Styria, and Leo is also gonna go talk to the king of Styria. And they're actually there at the same time, and they are like in a sort of like pleasure house, but they're wearing masks, and they actually talk to each other. And I was like, how do they not recognize each other's voices? Like, they have talked before. But anyway, so Leo actually talks to the king of Styria before, like first, and he is his just arrogant self. And the king of Styria does not like him, understandably so, because neither do I. And then Orso goes there and talks to the king, and he is, you know, much more charming, much more pleasant, just much better in general. And he offers to, you know, the two of them should have peace. They should not keep going with the way that the previous generations were, from like Styria and the Union, always at war. They should just, you know, be friends, be peaceful. And the king of Styria definitely doesn't give him an answer as to whether he will help Leo or not. But he definitely did like Orso more. And also Leo didn't really offer him anything that relevant. Like, he didn't really offer him anything that he didn't already have, kind of. So I, again, am hoping that he will not help Leo. But yeah, definitely Orso did not get any confirmation. He did, however, have the confirmation that Leo is conspiring for treason. And when he gets back to the capital, he's talking to Glokta about it. And so Glokta resigns, because that is his son-in-law now. And he knows that his daughter is also involved, so he can't really be Archlector anymore. And so he actually resigns. And then at the end, like the last chapter, we see basically Leo's forces coming from the north, and also like preparing his defenses. And yeah, that's where I'm at, and I am still absolutely loving it. I am still very excited. I'm nervous as well. I think that Leo is gonna lose, because I don't think everyone is gonna help him. And also, like, I remember from Rika's vision, I know that she said that she saw the lion with a crown, but also, like, in the previous book, I remember that part of the vision was that the lamb ate the lion. So I'm hoping it's here, because I really, really, really don't like him. And I do like Orso, so yeah, and also he would be a terrible leader. Not that Orso is great. I mean, he's trying his best, but like, he doesn't have a lot of room. And also, I don't think he's very skilled anyway, but like, at least he's a decent person, you know? So yeah, I'm worried, but I'm very, very, very excited, and I just know this is gonna be crazy and explosive. And yeah, I'm very excited, and I'm very excited to see what Rika does, because like, she definitely doesn't want to fight with Stour, and she didn't seem very convinced to want to fight with Leo in this either. So yeah, I'm curious. And yeah, I'm having a great time. It already is giving me the 5-star feelings, like from the beginning, really. So yeah, I'm having such a great time. I am loving like everything about it. I am really invested like in all the POVs, in all of like the different areas that we're following, all the different characters that we're following. And yeah, really, really loving it. So I'm going to finish it and I will be back. Okay, so I have finished the book, and so in this third part and last, when we started, we see that both Leo's side and Orso's side are like making all the preparations for the battle, and Orso knows that like he needs to stall to wait for his reinforcements to arrive, and so he actually invites Leo for dinner, and when they are having that dinner, Orso is like trying to still sort of prevent this battle from happening. He's trying to make peace, but Leo is not really interested in that. And then they both go again their separate ways. And Leo is wondering where the hell Rika and her people are, because like Stour is arriving, everyone else is arriving, and Rika, like there is no sign of her or her people. And then we actually go to the north and we see that Rika has not left the north. She has not gone to help Leo, and she is actually going to Stour's home to take it, because Stour has left to go fight for Leo, and so his home is sort of available. Obviously there are some people there, but his father actually has left that place as well. Like the most important, the most powerful people are not there, so she is going with Shivers and Izern and the Nail, and they are going to take Stour's home, basically. And then the battle actually starts, and some of the people from Orso's side had like tempered with the bridges, so when Leo's soldiers are going through the bridges, like they collapse. And then there are also some issues with Stour, because Leo wants Stour and his people to be like in the back, and Stour does not want to be in the back, so that's not working out very well either. And there's just like a lot of chaos. We, just like in other books, we have a lot of POVs of like the chaos during the battle, and it's like chaotic on both sides, both Leo's people and Orso's people, like very much chaos. And actually it seems that Orso's side is not doing well. Even after the initial chaos from Leo's side, they're actually getting the upper hand, and Leo's and Orso's side is being kind of crushed. But then some more reinforcements come, and the tide kind of changes, and Leo is caught by surprise when he's like getting to the city, and they actually lose. And when Stour sees that they are losing, Clover tells him to leave, to just abandon the battle, which Stour is like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, we came here to fight, we are fighters, we don't quit, we are proud. And Clover is like, this is not even your fight, might as well go back to the north and, you know, defend our home. And now that Leo has lost and he's not there for the protectorate, we can take it from Rika. And I was like, well, not if Rika takes your home first. And that is exactly what is happening. We see that Rika does in fact take Stour's home, and we also learn that she was actually indeed the one that sent Orso that letter warning him about the treason. So I was right, and I'm very happy about that. And yeah, we see her take the home, and she is now like taking that place. She's now in charge of that place, but she knows that both Stour and Black Calder, like they will be back. They will be like people that they have to deal with alone. Like they know that they will probably most likely have no help from the Union, and they will have to deal with them themselves. But she is ready for that, and she is now leading that place. And like Stour is on his way home, you know, and I was wondering to see if we would get him like actually get to the place in this book. And I mean, kind of yes, but also kind of no, because when they are on the way there, he's actually attacked by Clover, which I did not see coming. Like, I know that Clover doesn't like him, but so far he has been doing like whatever he has to do to just, you know, survive in the conditions that he's in. Like, he killed Wonderful in the previous book, so, you know, I did not expect him to attack Stour, but he actually does attack Stour, and then he takes him to the Nail and Shivers. and then he's like imprisoned and taken to Rika as well. So like I did not see that coming, but I really like to see it. And then back in the capital, so like the traitors are all gathered, like the ones that survived, and they are imprisoned and they are being like readied for execution. And Savine, like she was on the run, but she decides that maybe the best that she can do for herself and her unborn child is to go back to the capital and turn herself in. And so she does that, and she is found, she's caught, and then she's like talking to Orso, and she's like, why did you do this? Like, why did you not even want to marry me? Like, why do you hate me? Why did you turn against me? And she does tell him that they are half siblings. And then a couple days later, or like the next day or something, there is like the day of the hangings, and people are, being executed. And then when he gets to Leo's turn, he like Orso actually changes his sentence to life imprisonment instead of being executed. And he was like looking at Savine while he was doing that, so I'm guessing he did that for her. And yeah, I don't know if that was the right decision, because I don't trust Leo to be alive, to be honest. And then the last thing that we see is like Vic, she goes with the like Archlector Pike to the place where the uprising of the Breakers like started, and he's like telling her that he knew that she was loyal to the Inquisition because she was loyal to Glocta specifically, but like she has no reason to be loyal to the crown. And then it turns out that he seems to be the Weaver, although I'm not sure if he's the Weaver, because she's like, oh, so you're the Weaver, and like the leader of the Breakers/Burners. And he's like, that is a name that I have used on occasion, or something like that. So like, I don't know if he's actually the Weaver. But regardless, he's telling her that like she should join them. And at first she's like unsure, but if there's something that she learned at the camps, which is something that she's been saying like since the beginning of this trilogy, is that she should stay with the winning side. So she does agree to turn back from the Inquisition and join the Breakers. And that is the last thing that we see in the book. And so let's go into my final thoughts. And so starting off with the characters, and I think I'm going to start with Savine because she was the one that I started with in the previous book, I think. And my love for her has definitely died down in this book. And not only because like I don't agree with what she's doing, because I already didn't agree with a lot of what she was doing in the first book, but I just feel like she wasn't nearly as iconic in this book as she was in the other one. Because in the other book, even though she was like, taken in that attack and she was suffering through all of that, she still very much felt like she was in control. And in this book, like she was somewhat in control because she can manipulate people, but also she was dealing with just the circumstances that she was in, which is like marrying Leo and having to be part of his revolution. So I don't know, I just feel like she wasn't nearly as iconic. Like she tried to commandeer the situation, steer them in the direction that she wanted, but I don't think it was, nearly as iconic as she had been before. But I'm definitely interested to see how she's gonna be now that like Leo's revolution fails, and that she like what is gonna happen to her, like who is she gonna be? I'm very interested to see that in the next book. And then Leo, I still really don't like him. And there was at one point that he was thinking something about himself that like I wrote down. He thought he was no hero. He had never been. He was a fool, a great bloated tower of vanity. And like, yes, 100%, I agree with that. He is an idiot, and he is very easily led by other people and manipulated, and just he's an idiot. He is an idiot, and he just thinks so highly of himself, and he has this confidence that he will never fail, and clearly that has led him to where he is, which is about to be executed, and sadly he was not. But yeah, I really don't like him, and like I said, I don't really trust him to be alive, but it was very satisfying to see him lose and being beaten by Orso's people. So yeah, and we have seen like the lamb eat the lion, but we still have to see the owl eats the lamb, which I am not nearly as excited about. But moving on to the lamb, I guess, to Orso, I still really like him, and I feel like I like him more and more because he really grew on me throughout the first book, and I feel like I liked him even more as this book progressed. And I know that he might not be very well suited to lead the union. He's not very prepared, but also he's, you know, the conditions that he's in and like all of the past conflicts that have happened with the union and other places are, you know, not something that he could have controlled. So like he's trying to do his best, you know, and I love him for that. And then Rika, I absolutely love Rika. And like all the things that we got to see with the long eye in the first part, I think. It was so interesting to see like all that she went through to kind of like fix the long eye and how she now uses it for her advantage, because I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Izern who told her that or like the witch, but someone told her that it's not like what she sees, is how she uses it, I guess, or like how she tells people what she saw. And now she's like using the visions that she has or doesn't even have, I don't know, to her advantage, because some of the visions we see her having, others she just tells people, oh, I saw this happen, so like it is gonna happen regardless, so you better just work with me instead of against me, because if you work with me, it's gonna work out better for you. So like I don't know if she even sees some of the things, because like when she goes to Stour's home, like the guards at the door, they obviously don't want to let her in, but she's like, I saw myself sitting on the chair, throne, whatever, in there, so like I know that it's gonna happen, so you might as well let me in, because if you don't, I'm still gonna be sitting in that chair and it's not gonna work out very well for you, so you know, you might as well work with me. And like, did she actually see herself sitting there? I don't know, but it worked out for her, like how she now is using having the long eye. So I'm really liking that as well. And also really like to see her, you know, go take Stour's home. And I really like that she was the one who sent Orso the message. And I just really like her in general. She's a very fun character as well to follow. And yeah, once again, the characters are all so great. Even the ones that I don't love or really don't like, they are great characters. And I don't, like, there's not a single character that I just feel one way about. They are all very, I guess, gray, and my feelings for them are very gray. Even the ones I love, there are parts that I don't love. And even the ones that I hate, there are parts that I, not gonna say love, but like sympathize with. Because like Leo, I do feel bad for him with the fact that like he's so easily manipulated. Because like the whole revolution that he led wasn't even his idea. It was like other people, you know, whispering those things to him and telling him that like someone had to do something about it, and like, you're a hero, you're such a great fighter, people are gonna follow you if you do this. And he's like so easily manipulated. At the same time, like he questions every one of his decisions, but he still does it. So I still don't like him, but like, you know, there is a bit of feeling bad for him, I guess. And yeah, I just love the book in general. Like I was obsessed from the first page to the last. I was never bored. I was always hooked. And there were so many like fantastic, gruesome, violent, like fight scenes that I was like on the edge of my seat for. And at the same time, like the humor is just really my kind of humor. And so I love everything about this. I love the plot, I love the characters, I love the world, I love, like I said, the fight scenes, the humor, I love everything. And this one is just like the first book, 5 stars. And I can't believe I had 2 5 stars in a row. That is crazy. I haven't had 2 5 stars in a row in a very, 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 very long time. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. And now the like expectations for the next and last book are even higher, and yeah, it better be 5 stars as well, you know, and a whole series be 5 stars, like a whole trilogy be 5 stars. That's great. And like not all books in the series, like the overall First Law series, have been 5 stars for me, but a lot of them have been like 4.5, and they had another 5 star before this trilogy. And like the series as a whole definitely feels like a 5 star series for me. So yeah, I'm absolutely obsessed with the series, with the characters, with the world, with the magic, with everything. And yeah, I'm very excited for the next and sadly last book. But yeah, that is everything for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a like and subscribe. And I will talk to you next time. Bye!